Namaskaram. Today we are going to discuss about the Union Budget of 2025. This comes as an extremely important topic when it comes to BSchool interviews that are scheduled in February, March, as well as April. Personally, I also have interviews scheduled in February as well as March, and hence I'm making this video to make sure all my peers, if you are watching, it makes it easy for you as well to understand and follow the budget. So that if any questions come from this particular topic, you and we are able to answer it. Let's get started. Let's start with the most important topic of the budget, that is tax slabs. So what is the change that has happened in tax, and why is there a big roar in the ecosystem when it comes to tax slabs? So present year, the biggest change that has happened is individuals who earn less than or equal to rupees 12 lakhs have to not pay any tax from this year onwards. This is what has been proposed. This is the change that is driving people crazy and making the middle class really happy. This means even if you earn 1 lakh per month, you don't have to pay any tax. Apart from this, until last year, if you had a salary above 15 lakhs per year, you had to pay 30% and you came under the 30% tax bracket. But this year onwards, you only come under the 30% tax bracket if you earn above 24 lakhs, which is a big shift. Now, what is the outcome of this tax bracket change? The outcome over here is because of low taxes, there will be an increase in consumption due to an increase in disposable income in the hands of the middle class. Keep in mind, most of this middle class, they stay in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which means there will be an increase in consumption in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. This in turn will have an effect in increase in investments in the market, increase in consumption of FMCG goods, which means businesses in the FMCG sector are expected to do good. Apart from this, there's also an expected increase in the amount of sales of two-wheeler electric vehicles, which means startups in the EV sector will have an advantage. This is the secondary effect of the change in tax slabs. Now let us come to what the government has planned for the agricultural sector. Keep in mind that this year in the union budget, agriculture has been a major focus. This has also come in parallel with the economic survey of 2024-25, where they have clearly mentioned that one of the most important factors of this year will be the focus on domestic growth drivers. And one of the sectors which there has to be a lot of focus on is indeed agriculture. So what has the government done in the budget when it comes to agriculture? Let's get started with this. First, there is a national mission for providing high yielding seeds. This is a mission done so that farmers get access to seeds that are high in productivity, that can generate more crops, generate more revenue for the farmer. There has been special focus in this one crop, which is cotton. If you do not already know, India is indeed the biggest producer of cotton. Yet, Indian farmers of cotton are very poor. Reason being, there is very low productivity in India when it comes to the cotton crop. If we see the numbers, in India, the productivity of cotton is around 436 kgs per hectare, whereas in countries like, for example, China, there is a high productivity, where China produces 2,171 kgs per hectare. In a country like Brazil, they have a productivity of 1,911 kgs per hectare. That is a 4x or 5x jump when it comes to productivity in comparison with India. That is the difference that we seek to close upon, that we seek to bridge, and hence this mission. Apart from this, the government will facilitate short-term loans for Kisans, for farmers using Kisan credit cards. That is known as KCC. These loans initially had a limit of rupees 3 lakh, but now the limit has been extended to rupees 5 lakh, so that the farmers do not have to borrow money from private lenders, private money lenders who lend money to these farmers at exorbitant interest rates of up to 40%. So there's a big opportunity because of this focus on agriculture and farming. There's a big opportunity for agri-tech startups as well. Apart from this, in the Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana, there's a mission to develop a lot of agri districts, especially 100. The number of agri districts that have been planned is 100 in number, and there is a plan that can affect 1.7 crore farmers, which is again a very huge, very big change, very big focus on the agricultural department. Finally, when it comes to agriculture, the government has planned to create a much needed focus on this one superfood, makhana. Makhana, if you don't know, Bihar is a big producer of makhana, and the problem with this one superfood is very unstable prices, and hence sometimes when the prices are high, farmers shift to production of this particular superfood. When the prices go low, they have to stop and then cultivate something else. Hence, the government has decided that they will be creating a board, a makhana board in Bihar, where their main focus will be to stabilize the prices of the superfood so as to help the farmers produce even more with less risk. That is the focus of agriculture this year. Now, apart from agriculture, one of the other focuses of the government of India this year is MSMEs and startups. This has been a major focus, so this is very important for people who are in business, who are going for BSchool interviews, because this is indeed our domain. Let's start talking about the increase in loans which the government is approving at the moment for MSMEs and startups. For MSMEs, the initial loan limit for for them was 5 crores, whereas now they can take a loan of up to 10 crores. These are government backed loans, which means even if the business is not able to succeed, is not able to grow, the loan is backed by the government. So if the founder or the business fails to pay the bank, then that money will be reimbursed to the bank by the government. So the banks are more interested, the banks are more open to giving out or handing out these kinds of loans. Now this was for MSMEs. For startups, the initial loan amount was 10 crores, that was the limit, but now it has been increased to 20 CR or 20 crores. So there has been a big change when it comes to the loan amount or the loan limits that MSMEs and startups can now take. The second thing that is worthy of talking about over here is the government of India has changed the definition of micro, small and medium enterprises in a way that they can now retain the tax benefits, the interest benefits when it comes to loan taking or lending. So they can retain these benefits even if they grow further. The problem over here earlier was that if they grew over a certain limit, they would lose all the benefits because they wouldn't come under the definition of small, micro or medium enterprises anymore. But now the limit has been increased to a much bigger value. So just for an example, the businesses who were considered as medium-sized businesses had a revenue cap of about 250 crores, but now the cap has been increased to 500 crores, which means they can now safely grow to about 500 crores without losing the benefits that they had. Now, apart from this, the government has also allocated an extra 10,000 crores to the fund of funds, which means private equity, venture capital. These are funds where there's a big group of investors who invest in startups, and they distribute the money in the startups so as to avoid risk, but also invest in startups that can grow. So the government has included an additional 10,000 crores of money inside that fund. This fund already had 91,000 crores to its name. They included another 10,000 crores, which essentially means there is a lower risk for investors to invest in startups and more money in the hands of actual startup founders. So that has been the focus on businesses. And apart from this, there is also one more important thing which we need to keep in mind as MBA aspirants. That is, this year the government is focusing a lot again on manufacturing. That is, Make in India. So if that is very clear, let us go to criticisms. What is the criticism that this budget of 2025 by the government is facing, or what are the opposition leaders saying? What's the criticism that we need to know about in case the interviewers ask us about what kind of criticism is there? This is what it is. First, in this whole budget, the primary focus has been on Bihar. Bihar is getting a lot of benefits, which includes there will be 4 airports being built in Bihar. There will be an increase in funding for IIT Patna to increase the premises, increase a lot of opportunities in IIT Patna. There will be a Makhana board being created in Bihar. There will be a focus of agriculture in Bihar. A lot of things have been said about Bihar, but no other state has been even mentioned in the budget. So opposition parties are talking about this because the upcoming elections of Bihar is a clear motivation for the BJP government to make a budget which is centered on Bihar. However, there are other states in the nation who also need a lot of funds, who also need a lot of schemes and benefits, which are not being catered to. That's one of the criticisms. The second criticism over here is the fiscal deficit is being reduced. Initially it was 4.9%, now it is 4.8%, but this reduce has been critiqued by Chidambaram ji, who said that this reduce has come at the cost of growth for the nation. So essentially what has happened is the government could not produce the income that was being planned, and the income generated was less than the planned income to be generated earlier. So because of that, the government reduced its spendings in various policies and schemes that the government had introduced before, and hence the whole deficit of the budget has come as a result of not sending out funds for these very, very vital schemes of India. That is indeed the second criticism. The third criticism over here has been given by Shashi Tharoor, who said that there has been a lot of focus on the people who are salaried employees who get a benefit on their tax bracket. However, people who do not have salaries, people who are unemployed, there is no schemes that have been introduced for them. There has been no benefits introduced for them. There has been no focus on them. That is also one of the major critiques of this budget. Finally, the last critique over here is many flagship schemes like Poshan, Jal Jeevan Mission, PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. These were introduced before, but then now these have been taken out of sight. They have either lost funding, or their funding has been slashed or reduced, because there has been more money that has to be allocated to new funds, new schemes. And this for this particular point, there is no stats or no evidence at the moment, but then this is something that has been a discussion in close quarters at the higher level. That is all about the budget. That is all that I know of the budget. and I put together a document for this. I'll be sharing this in the description, so you can just simply open it up and take notes. Take all the notes which I have made, and this will indeed benefit you as well. So you can give your interviews in full confidence, with full energy, and with the knowing that you know about the budget and you have an understanding of what's going on in India. Special thanks and credits to Think School for making a video from where I have noted down all these points and I'm able to explain to you what the budget means for this year of 2025. Bye bye. See you next time.